Alright, hey, what's up? This is the League of Critics, and this is going to be my review of Alter Bridge's Fortress. Okay, so, how can you make one of the worst bands in existence take away one member and get one of the best rock albums of the year? I'll tell you how. And that's Scott Stapp. Okay, so quickly, what's the difference between Scott Stapp and Robert Pattinson? Nothing. Yeah, right? Scott Stapp and Robert Pattinson have one thing in common: an undeserved self-righteous everything. Okay, I got another one for you. What's the difference between Scott Stapp and a watermelon? A watermelon didn't bring down an entire decade of music with his suckiness. On the top 10 douchiest musicians of all time, Scott Stapp ranks second only to one man: the amazing, the infallible, the horrible Fred Durst. That's right. Everybody give a round for Fred Durst. He actually had a garbage dump named after him. Not a joke. That's actually real. Alright, moving on. Hate for Scott Stapp aside, it's proof that Creed doesn't suck as much as you think, because the other three members went on to make this. That's right. Alter Bridge's new album, Fortress, is absolutely amazing, and it will go down as probably one of the top records of the year because it's just mind-blowingly awesome. Replace Scott Stapp, get in Myles Kennedy, and you have a ridiculous equation for absolute amazing music. Seriously. Here's my review. Alright. So, we're going to talk about the history in a second, but I want to go straight through into this because you just need to hear it. This album is just awesome. Alter Bridge jump into this like their heads on fire, because this album opens up with the heaviest music they've ever made in their entire career. Seriously, Cry of Achilles, oh my god, when you first listen to it, it's absolutely mind-blowing. It's like, oh my god, that's what rock sounds like. That's what awesome sounds like. I just heard Liquid Awesome, and it went in my ears, and it raped my brain, and I can't deal with it. It's just amazing how these guys can even function, because Tremonti and Kennedy have done nothing but write other projects this whole time, and they've had no time. How do you have time to write an album like this with no free time? Tremonti's got 3 projects: Creed, Tremonti, and Alter Bridge. Myles Kennedy is singing with Slash. How do you have time to write this album, but they still managed to pull off one of the best albums of the year? They're starting off with Cry of Achilles as this opening thrashing through the gate, the heaviest music ever, and they continue to push forward and improve with every release. It's amazing. This album shows Myles using his vocal range like he's a god. He starts off in bass range, he goes up to tenor range, soprano range, that's right, soprano range, screaming vocals, opera vocals. It's amazing, really. The next track, Addicted to Pain, moves straight into a heavier but straightforward radio rock song. It's like when you turn on the radio and you're not unhappy to hear the radio single. That's the kind of song this is. After that, they move into a song called Bleed It Dry, which shows off guitarist Tremonti's skills like never before. Seriously, the guitar solo on this could make Eddie Van Halen blush. It's ridiculous. I can't even imagine that solo if I hadn't heard it first. It's just ridiculous. It's a truly emotional song about love and betrayal, and it shows off just everything. The vocals, the lyrics, the style, everything in this song is amazing. The Uninvited starts off slower a little bit, and it teases guitar lines, heavy ones, so it's just like, and then it just goes back down, and then all of a sudden, bam, explosion, wall of noise, and you're in the middle of it. It's just right there. And you're in the middle of one of the biggest songs of the album. And it builds throughout to an epic finish, and this song has huge booming sing-along chorus to it that's just wonderful. I love it. Pieces Broken is a quieter song on the album, at least for this album. For a normal album, it would be a rock song, but it's quieter here. It has a huge bass line that just jams and boogies along the whole time. It's just building, just jamming along the entire song, and the song is about a drug-fueled abusive relationship. Pieces Broken. Wouldn't have guessed that one. So the next one, Calm the Fire, is my absolute favorite track on the album. It starts off with Myles singing in his high soprano falsetto voice, like a lullaby to his child, and it moves along so quietly, and then all of a sudden, bam, it's the hardest solo you've heard since the 3rd track on the album, and they're just rocking out, and then Myles is screaming at the top of his lungs, and then it ends just like it began, with this quiet little melody, and you sit back and take in what just happened. Waters Rising is a cool song because it actually shows Tremonti taking over lead vocals like he does in his side project, and he does a great job. Seriously, he did amazing things with this, and it adds soul. I think his voice is a little bit soulful for a white guy. It really is huge, cool, because the harmonic thing they get going when Myles and him are singing together, and the chorus of this is just amazing. There's nothing you can say about this album that's bad. I've tried. You can't. Farther from the Sun, this song jumps back to the start of the album, and it just fires off another heavy song about defiance and standing up for yourself. It's pretty much exactly what rock stands for. Being against the man, for yourself. Be your own person. Cry a River continues that momentum that Farther the Sun starts, and it keeps it going with a little bit lighter rock sound, but still forcefully pushing forward to the next song, which is All Ends Well. It's another rock ballad, but as I would like to think, it's not your mama's rock ballad. They return to the sound of previous albums, and it's the only song that reminds me of anything they've done other than this album. It's the only one that sounds like their previous albums. But it's nice to hear the variety, really. And then we get to the crowning achievement of this album. The reason this album is so great. The song that wraps everything up together like a little package and sends it on its way. It's got pieces of everything in this song, and it's 7 minutes long. It's awesome. It's the most epic closer I've heard all year. And I mean it, all year. It's this epic tale that's a part 2 to Cry of Achilles, the first song. And it ties it together, and it makes use of rhythm and time changes, and it's definitely experimental for them, but who cares? It rocks. It's just awesome. 5 stars. Seriously, 5 stars. I said I'd give you some history, so speed round, history. Alter Bridge is in a rock band from Orlando, California. They formed up in 2004. The lead band vocalist is Miles Kennedy, guitarist Tremonti, bassist Brian Marshall, and drummer Scott Phillips. 3/4 of them are Creed. The other one is not. And after Creed's disbandment in 2004, they joined up to make good music. That is your history from Alter Bridge. Thank you for listening. Buy this album. Now. Do it. I don't care. Right now. Go out and buy it. Seriously. Seriously, buy it. It's right here. You need to get it. Alright.